Hello and welcome to this next video in this series where I learn to play and develop a Nurgle team in Blood Bowl 2. This on the screen now is the team I was playing against, although because I forgot to get a screenshot of them before the match, this is how they were after the game. No players leveled up and there were no new purchases, but I mentioned in the last video that where they had money to spend, wondering what might have been going on. What I did after the match was buy another reroll, so they're up to 5 rerolls. For the game they just had the 4, but otherwise the team was exactly the same. There were no levels up and no extra players, so they had a journeyman skink. And yeah, here's my team quite quickly, just to as a bit of a reminder of who's in there. So I lost to Pestigore last match, down to 3 of those. Still with the 4 warriors, 2 with block, and I got a Pestigore with block and a Pestigore with wrestle, a Rotter with wrestle. There's a Rotter in there who's had a armor value penalty as well. But here we go. So home game. Home fans played a part maybe later on. So there's quite a reversal of fortunes in this match from my last game. I'm not going to spoil the score, but yeah, things went a bit better this time. I definitely felt better at the end of this match than I did the first one. Again, like the first game, wasn't going into this game with much expectation of winning. I've been struggling to score touchdowns with this team. I've only scored 3 in 4 games. All 3 of those are against AI teams. So I've been finding them tough to score with. And I mentioned last time about probably making the wrong decision about whether I wanted a 2-1 win or a 1-0 win. This time I decided right from the start I want to win 1-0. I want to shut them down on their attacking drive and I want to score in my attacking drive, and I want that to be it. Just a 1-0 win would be perfect. I'd also be very happy with no deaths, especially after last time. But yeah, that's the mentality I was going into it with. I did consider, if I had won the toss, I probably would have received, which is sort of unusual for me, especially with a more physical team. But I felt like if I could have scored in the first half, going to half time ahead, maybe injured some skinks in the first half, I think the Lizardmen would have had a really tough time scoring. Just pausing here so we can look at the teams shortly. There's a skink. I'll let the skink go stand under the ball from the high kick. Oh no, it's quick snap. It's quick snap, so there'll be a while yet. Yes, we got surrounded the ball quite quickly. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I was considering receiving if I'd won the toss. I lost the toss and I was kicking. I'm usually happy doing that anyway, so not so big a deal. Have a quick look at my team, then we'll go behind the Lizardmen for this half. Let's see if the icons are going to stay up for the advances. So we've got Wrestle Pestigore on my left, Wrestle Rotter over my right, so I'm down a Pestigore. I need to drop a play an extra Rotter and I put the Wrestle one over here. Block Pestigore over here, who's a really important player this game. I was trying to highlight where the mouse was. Don't really need to, it's a massive arrow on this game. Unlevelled Pestigore there, 2 unlevelled warriors on the wings. Block warriors just behind the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is just 3 sacrificial rotters standing up to this Croxigore and 2 Saurus. Lizardman team got unlevelled Saurus over here who's just about to take the first action. Another one over here, it's a bit of a mirror image. They quick snapped around the ball. 3rd unlevelled Saurus here, so all the other 3 have block. 1 here and then 2 on the line of scrimmage. 2 on the line of scrimmage also have tackle, which isn't going to come into effect in this game. I don't have anyone with block. Croxigore, guard and stand firm, going to be very tough to deal with. I don't want to do a lot of dodging anyway, so things like prehensile tower isn't going to be a problem. Mighty blow is. So Croxigore definitely dangerous. And actually I did alright against him this time. I was concerned about my lack of strength, 5, but it was alright. Skinks, 3 skinks, so sidestep 1. This one on the ball who caught the bouncing kick, it's just unlevelled. There's a block skink here, and this one is the journeyman. So with 2 loner players on the team. And yeah, let's lose those icons now. We'll leave the grid up because it does make it a bit easier to see the squares. So ball up behind the line. And looking at protecting it pretty solidly. the Lizardman coach here also did a really good job, not just of protecting the ball carrier, but of protecting skinks. So I was always on the lookout for which skinks can I attack, because they're the players I need to get off the pitch to sort of shut down their play. But it was hard to reach any of them at any point. There was just this wall of Saurus to try and get through for the whole game. That made it really tough. Yeah, as expected, 3 rotters just being demolished by that front line. And the other one here going down as well. All 3 of them just knocked over though. I thought there was a stun there, probably another kick-off that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I don't have a lot on, but because I know I want to win 1-0, I want to limit their chances of scoring this half. So I want to make what 2 dice blocks I can, and then just stand off of them. Try and give them their own, for as long as possible. I want their only option to be the 1 blitz. I don't want them to be able to hit anybody else for as long as we can, and just to hold them up, stop them getting through. I mean, skinks, when you get to a certain point, any gap can be exploited by a skink, so it can be a bit tough to shut them down completely. With dodge and stunty, they can just slip through basically any gap. But that was a great start. Straight away taking out an important Blocksaurus and outnumbering the other team, and then just really leaving no way through here. And then getting, to sort of doubling up the players here means, even with stunty, it's not harder dodges, but it's an extra dodge each time to get through if they want to do that, or if they're going to try and blitz their way through. They can only get the first player, the second one's still blocking the way. Got my rotters had pretty good games here. There was lots of good standing up to the Croxagore and the Saurus, and just holding them up. Excuse me, do have a bit of a cold, so there might be some nose blowing. I forgot to make tea before, so there'll be no tea. But there will be some nose blowing, probably some sniffs. So I'm quite well set up here for 2 dice on the Croxagore. With cheap disposable players like rotters, I made some. I don't foul very often when we're playing this game. It's usually just a bit too risky for my liking, but I do try a couple of fouls on the Croxagore in this game, just because the opportunity was presented to me. I was like, I've got to try it. If I can get this player off the pitch, that can be really key. Stand firm actually helped me there, because it means I get more assists on the foul. But yeah, rolled a 5. I thought it was a 3, but it was just a 5 I rolled, which is no good at all. I tend not to foul unless I need it's at least sort of a 7+ roll. I feel like that's a good enough trade-off for the risk. I feel like if you're needing 8 or higher, you're starting to look at more difficult dice rolls to hit those sort of numbers, and the risk of rolling a double and losing a player is, I think, is getting a bit high at that point. And I think unless I had sort of bribes, maybe a dirty player, I sort of don't think the risk is as worth it as it is for lower rolls. So yeah, limiting what blocks they can make still, which has been really helpful. And I had a much happier time of keeping players on the pitch in this game than in the game against the Necromantic team. Finally got a tackle zone on a skink, and I've got an opportunity to hit one of them here as well with this warrior, possibly this one. But yeah, Croxagore down again. And dodge there means I think that meant I lost too many assists for the foul to be worth it this turn. I think I was going to be looking at an 8+ or 9+ roll. trying to dodge away because that was a Pestigore in trouble. And yeah, got away with that dodge. So moving a player black to watch out for any skinks breaking through. This was the turn of unwelcome ones for the Lizardmen. So that's 1 for Bonehead and then 2 for foul appearance. And another player had to took up an extra Saurus's action. With the poor show from foul appearance in the last match, that was I was really pleased to see that come off in an important way. But here I've left, so I kept that Pestigore safe by moving him back, but it's created a bit of a space that they can then get through. So things starting to look a bit dangerous here because this skink's now almost in scoring range. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, so 1 square short of being able to score next turn. So I have to shut down this attack now, and I've got a lot of slow players over here that I need to shift over. I just realised my game volume's a bit loud in my ears, so you might have seen the old volume bar there. Right, so I'm needing to, any player who's free, I want over here to limit movement. I definitely want the Saurus marked, because if they can move freely, that gives them another opportunity to cage up here where it's much closer to the end zone with no opportunity for me to really stop it and get at the ball. Block Pestigore on there. I think I'm looking at blitzing with this wrestle one. It's always going to be one of those two going for the ball, making the blitz. Yeah, so I only managed to push, but then step back here to prevent that skink just flying down the touchline. There's also this one who can reach this turn, which I think is what they look at here. But we do have disturbing presence, making it a slightly more difficult catch. Only 1 disturbing presence aura on this skink, but 4+ catches harder than a 3+, and it doesn't quite work out here. And it's the journeyman, there's no loner reroll, so ball dropped in turn 5, which is obviously brilliant for me, especially as the only thing I'm trying to do this half is stop them scoring. I'm not especially interested in scoring myself. I do slightly forget that in a bit. I start to get a bit excited about a scoring opportunity, and perhaps throw a player too far forward where I didn't need to. So our warrior making the blitz this turn. So let's get the ball away from some Lizardmen. I've still got 3 tackle zones now on that ball. Clocks have gone down on a single dice block. Straight back up again though. I do have all these players are a bit trapped here. Sort of surrounded by high strength players and not a lot I can do about them being there. Goes for the difficult pickup, which is a 6. And then, so I've had to re-roll it as well. Pretty friendly scatter for me in the end. Down there, away from all the Lizardmen. So I've got a wall of my players between them and the ball, which is great. And then opportunities to try and stand more players around it. Didn't want to follow up there because I wanted to stay on the ball. Skinks not going down even with 3 dice on them. And again, Now this is a mistake I remember. I've got this guy available to block here, and if I can get that skink down or not in this guy's tackle zone, I've got another player I can go and stand on the ball. Instead I use this rotter to block, which means this warrior can't really do anything this turn. If I'd use that warrior to block the skink there, this rotter could have just moved in. Another foul appearance success, or failure, which is lovely stuff. That's a pushback, puts another tackle zone on the ball, which is perfect, but then he gets knocked down anyway. Scatters the ball out, still in one tackle zone for me, but that skink is now a very dangerous player. But failed 2 pickup rolls there, but still has a chance to score. It'll be slim. All I've got to do is try and crowd this ball as much as possible. So that's 2 tackle zones. That's only giving up a 5+ pickup. So I do scatter it out. Sidestep really helpful there to move the ball into a slightly easier position. Now knocked him down, but is still close enough to score because they're so quick. 2, 4, 5 will be normal movement, stand up, and then 2 go for it. It means he can reach, so I've got to watch it. That's 2 tackle zones on the ball. Trying to move this player over. Dodged even out of a prehensile towel. 3 tackle zones on the ball. Try and make it as difficult as possible. It's still possible for them to score, but I'm just doing everything I can to crowd that ball and make it really hard. Of course they can blitz one of these players, which they do. Couldn't really risk scattering the ball there. This is where I threw the player forward to make sure I had someone in scoring position. He probably should have been back here helping out. He could have made it more difficult because this play comes off. And conceding the turn 8, really disappointing. It's quite a low percentage play to pull it off in the end, but you know, definitely well worth the risk. And it, yeah, pulled it off. Skinks can do stuff like that with their speed, with dodge and stunty, getting them through tight spaces. The pickup roll on a 5 was the only really difficult one, but yeah, came off, and well played that coach. Made sure he had someone who could score, and then took the chance when it came to it. So let's try and skip the setup a bit. Where are we up to? Yeah, let's go from there. So that's after the kick's resolved, I think. So making what 2 dice blocks I can, starting with my block players. Got my block Pestigore over here to make a blitz. It's another 2 dice with block. Just a push. Probably could have re-rolled that, although I'm sort of saving it a bit because I want this rotter to try and make a pass. And he's going to have to go for it, pick the ball up, throw it, and then someone's got to catch it. So I want the re-roll for that, really, to try and get that point. Croxigore down. Another rotter in to go for the foul. Let's move that guy, so it's definitely a quick pass. Rolled a 3 on that armour roll for the foul. So no one's getting sent off, but the fouls aren't working. I make the pick up, have to re-roll the pass, and then get that on target. And I think I dropped the catch here. But yeah, it's like I think I highlight every time, but these just never work for me. You just want 1 star player point for someone, and it doesn't come off. That's half time, so 1-0 down is alright. Not what I wanted, because I wanted it to be no score at half time, so I could then go on score in the second half. But I've kept 11 players on the pitch for the whole half, and it felt like so much a better experience than the last game. Having all my players available made me feel like I could put up a good defence, and I think I did put up a good defence. You know, it took them 8 turns to score. They had to pull off a really low percentage play to get that touchdown in the end. I'm making them roll loads of dice, but you know, it came off for them, and that's, you know, fair enough, and well played by the coach for taking the chance that he had. So I've been finding, scoring with this team a lot harder than defending. Went for something a bit asymmetrical here to try and sort of pile on one side and try and bully my way through it. But a wall of Saurus is a lot to get through. The Croxigor's not really going to be moving anywhere. So I'm looking at just trying to hold it up. And then the half kind of develops into me wanting to make sure the Saurus are marked every turn, because they don't want to be dodging with their agility of 1. And if you can limit where they can move, it gives you a lot more chance of just getting through and scoring, because they have to sort of clear bodies away from the Saurus, so it limits what they can do with their blitz a bit, which can help protect your ball carrier. It's sort of the only way I really know how to attack a Lizardman team. You know, try and get skinks off the pitch and try and make sure the Saurus can't be where they want to be, is all I can really do. But at the same time, standing next to a Saurus is dangerous with your average player, because they're just going to get smashed. So yeah, that and the skink's speed and dodge and stunty. That's why I'm sort of constantly finding Lizardmen a really tough opponent. But I've put 3 players down, which isn't a bad turn at all. So it's already I'm obviously looking at this wing to attack through, but there's so many Saurus here. And I know I've still got plenty of turns, but it feels like I'm already getting bogged down around the halfway line with not really anywhere I can do. I'm looking to use this block Pestigore every turn to throw a blitz to try and make a hole, but there's just no making a hole at the moment. There's too many strength 4 armor 9 players standing in my way. 3 of them would block as well. So stun is great, gives me a bit of space to manoeuvre next turn maybe. But it's not really where I can go. All I can do is shuffle the ball up behind this line. Send this Pestigore in here to give me 2 dice on the Croxigor, and I'm just edge the ball forwards, see if it can get me anywhere. Very helpful bonehead there. Means these players can potentially all be free to move next turn. Yeah, shuffling it up. I'm looking at things like, can I blitz from the touchline onto one of these skinks? This is the journeyman one as well, so probably the most vulnerable. Not the sidestep one anyway, is the key thing. To make a bit of a gap and try and create some space here to cage up, but then I've got this Saurus laying down who's in the way, another skink just behind. So it's great positioning over here from the Lizardmen. And all I can really do here is sort of try and claim one square at a time, but I haven't got enough turns to do that in any sort of long-term way. So looking at a gap that I can try and create here. Yeah, I really enjoy having this on my Chaos team as well. Just giving a Beastman block just gives you someone who every turn you can rely on to go throw a blitz at someone. Horns and blocks is just such a brilliant combination for that. Why Beastmen are one of my favourite players in the whole game. As soon as you get block on one of them, you've just got that sort of solid blitzing player. So I've left only two Saurus free to move where they want this turn. That's what I'm trying to do every turn, is limit that space, limit the actions of the Saurus. Just a really key thing for playing against Lizardmen. Still doesn't make them easy to play against at all, but it's sort of all you can get. I did leave my so I left my blitzer a bit bogged down there. I should really have looked at moving him elsewhere after his blitz. This is the turn, yeah, where so that's Rotto missing the next game. And I think exactly the same thing happens here as well. So yeah, that was a skink getting a casualty as well. And this is a -1 armor value. Decay causing 2 long-term injuries, of course. But yeah, very suddenly down to 9 players. I was really surprised to see this skink not stop in my ball carrier's tackle zone, but quite grateful for it as well. But now the only gap I've got means I have to knock the Croxigar over, and I've got a bit of space here to play with. And if I can mark up these Saurus, which I think I don't properly do quite effectively. Yeah, if I could have got that warrior there, or no, what I do is, yeah, I should have pushed him back there, so when he stood up, he's still marked by the warrior. That's the square I should have been pushing back to. So that was a mistake. I was trying to remember what the mistake was I'd made there. I thought I'd maybe positioned my assists in a way that I couldn't do that, but I just chose the wrong pushback square. So ball's gone forward into the Lizardmen half, but now I'm forced into trying to dodge to get a bit more extra support for him, which is not a great position to be in, but he comes off and gets him through. So fairly safe there, because this Saurus isn't going to be dodging there to come and have a go at my guy. He's going to have to make 2 dodges to get at him. There are skinks here who can come get in the way over here, and I've got 1 Saurus free over here. But there's not really anyone else who can be much of a threat at the moment. Do have to watch out for this skink, because he's got the movement to come and threaten me here next time, and this is the space I'm attacking. I'm going to be trying to look at my block Pestigore, clearing. Well, these are all so far back that he might not even reach them that easily. Yeah, he would be able to blitz one of them. So didn't follow up, so I'd probably be looking at blitzing there. Got an assist at this point, but I think there was a really good risk taken here with this 1 dice block, because that really holds me up. Means I have to use my blitz with this on this one, and then this has to be the way I go round with the ball. So instead of just coming straight forward through here, because this Saurus is here, I have to go right round. Maybe have thought about, where did I push into? Oh, I think that's, yeah, I can maybe have pushed him over there to give me that square to move through as well, but then he wouldn't have been marked, and that's what I was looking at. So frees up another Rotto, taking the Croxigar down. It's on a 1 dice. Assist here. Yeah, I want to make sure this Saurus stays marked. There we go. That was a risky 1 dice block. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I got away with it. Even get a stun out of it, which is not bad. So 2 Saurus over here. who can come threaten me for next turn. 2, 4, 6. So with a go for it, he's 1 turn from scoring. And because these Saurus are pouring around here, and I've got all these skinks available to move to give assists, can potentially cancel out any assists I might have. I sort of feel I've got to score next turn, or I don't think it's going to happen, because I can't just move down here. Probably going to have to move around some places, some things anyway. Yeah, what happened here? Right, so I think the Lizardman coach thought about this for a really long time, because this was right at the end of the 3 minutes that they had, to go and put this 1 dice splits on this guy here. I was looking at, like, this skink was available as well. Could have come in here for another assist for 2 dice, but I was imagining he was trying to decide if he wanted to do that or leave someone available to come stand on the ball or try and pick it up after the ball carriers goes down. So he's gone with a 1 dice block. If obviously if he rolls a skull or both down is bad for me, is bad for him. Well, not so bad. Both downs not so bad for him at all, actually, because it means I drop the ball. Don't have block on this guy. If he pushes him back and knocks him down, what I was looking at is the crowd's going to throw the ball in. It could really go anywhere. It would be too perfect if the crowd threw the ball to this guy, because then he can just run in and score if he catches it. That doesn't happen, but what does happen is almost as good, and I'm really sorry for the Lizardman coach for what happened, because he didn't deserve it. Like, he made great defensive plays to shut down my attack, meant I had to take risks to leave my ball carrier exposed, and then the home crowd just throw the ball into the end zone. Run out of time, so this skink couldn't go and stand on it, and all I've got is this guy needs a go for it and a pick up to score. Yeah, sorry, Ollie. I've definitely seen worse ones. I think in this league in the past, the crowd have thrown the ball to somebody in the end zone who have caught it. I think there's history of that happening, but that's almost as bad. And I felt apologetic, but I'm taking the opportunities as they're given. Knocked out guy comes straight back, which is helpful, because I could really do with as many Pestigor as I can. But Lizardmen have 3 turns now to try and score, and with the speed that they've got, they're very capable of doing that. So I've got to concentrate here and make sure they don't. So I need to put up a good defence, which, as I mentioned in other videos before, putting up a good defence is one of my favourite things in this game. Like, I enjoy defending, and because this is a bit, I should have spread out more to make sure the skinks couldn't be just coming down, because I don't have the speed to catch them. It's not a great choice of setup. The way I set up for the first kickoff. Now this kickoff result is one of the most perfect things I could have hoped for, because now they've got riskier pickup rolls, and they're going to have to pick the ball up. That or a blitz would have been just perfect, and I got it started raining. But yeah, I was saying the way I set up for the first kickoff of the game across the pitch, because I thought I don't want the skinks just booking it down the wings. That's probably how I should have set up for this as well. Although the skinks are all so far back, it didn't really matter so much. But yeah, so this skink very much a danger to score, and he's right in the middle, so I have to watch both flanks still. I can't just pile all my defence on one flank, because they'll go the other way. And I'm definitely not getting at the ball, so I've got to do my sort of usual standoff, make sure they can't get very far forwards. But with a skink with dodge and stunty, they can always get their way through any hole, so it's sort of quite high pressure defence here. The Lizardmen have only got 2 turns to score after this, but they're very capable of doing it, and I do very nearly get caught out here. So a bit of a spoiler there. I might as well say now it ends 1-1, so pull it off. He went about 2 squares too far back. I was thinking about how quickly a skink can move down here. Like, I'll need someone as far back as I can to react, to be able to react. But the skink's probably only going to be 8 squares from the end zone. Is going to be their ideal place. And that means he's got a bit of a stretch then to go blitzing one, and may need to go for it. So 2, 4, 6. So we're on this dark line. That's his natural movement range. Is this square here, which means the skink's going to have to be on that line for me to blitz him without a go for it roll. 2, 4, 6, 8, and that's one. Yeah, they're still in scoring range, but they could be further back. And with other players they put through as well, I might need to move further to move around tackle zones. If he was a couple of squares further forward, maybe 3 squares further forward, he'd have a much better sort of threat range. And just went that bit too far back. So Saurus have made a gap where the skink didn't even need to dodge. So I'm making a go for it rolls there. I'm surprised we're not seeing this skink move forward before the Saurus to cover here, because Fel go for it and they had to use I think they used their last reroll on the pickup last turn. No, still had one left, so I'd used one this turn. But now, this skink can still score. I've got to make sure it goes down. So I've got my Wrestle Pestigore here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do it without going for it. Needs to blitz from this square. But I just want to shut down as many players as I can before making that, because it's still a risk. It's going to be 3 dice though, because of all of the all of the assists. This guy here to try and make extra dodge rolls if this doesn't work, but because he had wrestle, that was a safe takedown, and now they can't score. Even wrestle the Croxigore down. I'm not gonna foul them the last turn. That's a bit of a dick move. There's no benefit to me to try and injure someone in turn 16. All it can do is stand up. So, one thing there though, that cheeky chain push. I was surprised the Saurus wasn't making that block, but that chain push just put that skink in range of scoring still. That was something I didn't spot until he sort of made that block. But close run stuff, really sort of tense and hard fought game. Pretty even on some stuff, like I mean, I did take a couple of injuries, didn't inflict any casualties, so star player points were quite limited for me. A nice friendly MVP though meant that our warriors leveled up. All sort of fairly even stuff. Dice are okay. I'm not rolling many dice, which is usually my aim. I just want to roll as few dice as possible where I can. And that's quite low numbers on rolling, but quite an even spread. No complaints there. Making the Lizardmen roll a lot more dice. There are things like foul appearance, which is another 10 rolls that is just built into playing a Nurgle team. And then quite a few dodges, definitely more dodges than me, but skinks will do that. And more attempts to pick up the ball as well. But they're things you've got to try and roll. Bonehead is another sort of inbuilt number of rolls you're making. And this is just, if anyone's not watched like all my videos, which there's no expectation anyone would have done, I have this bit of my approach is to try and make my opponents roll a lot more dice than me, because that's how you make things go wrong. So I'm just interested in how many dice are being rolled often. But playing against Nurgle with things like foul appearance, it has more rolls built into it. Having a bonehead player has more rolls built into it, so that's another 14, 24 dice that they're rolled for, just because of the way the teams are. But anyway, I want to look at my team as they stand. I had enough money to recruit another Pestigore. I just rolled enough for that, so down to nothing in the treasury again. This is the name that the Blood Bowl 2 naming bot suggested that I take for this new Pestigore, and I said no and named them something else. It would have been a nice pally name for someone who would appreciate that more, but not for me. So that warrior who leveled up, which one was it? This guy, took block. So 3 block warriors now. Makes for a really solid basis. And I know it's potentially a bit boring, and there are other skills you could take as a first advance to sort of get them a bit more specialised quicker. So I know a lot of coaches like to skip block for the first one, take guard or mighty blow or claw or something. But my bottom line is that block prevents turnovers, so I always take it first. I don't, unless I'm playing like an elf team where you want to mix some dodging quite early or something. I just think taking block or wrestle first prevents turnovers, saves you rerolls, and with the reliance on rerolls I'm going to have with this team because of their lack of ability in moving the ball around, I don't want to have to reroll blocks, so I'm taking block first on everyone that's important for, or wrestle in a couple of cases. So I think my next Pestigore who levels up is probably going to take wrestle as well, so I've got sort of 2 defensive Pestigores, and then my 4th one to level up, I'm planning on taking either extra arms or sure hands. I've not decided which I prefer at the moment, but yeah, I want to make that ball carrier sort of last. I feel like if you make your ball carrier, touchdown scorer type players first, you just lean on them so much for scoring touchdowns that no one else levels up, and I like to get a nice even spread of leveling. So I'd ideally like all of my Pestigores to score 2 touchdowns each before I sort of have a sort of dedicated touchdown scorer, but with the speed that I'm struggling to score touchdowns with this team, I don't think that's going to really happen. So I've just sort of had touchdowns and splashed in casualties and MVPs for my Pestigores who've leveled so far. But anyway, that's where we're up to. I don't know who I've got next at the moment because there's still there's 1 game going on at the moment, 2 games to play, and it's probably helped me in the leaderboard a bit. I was lower than this last week. We have other games to come as well. We'll see who we end up playing. I want to look in on, so you may have seen in my other playlist there was a Humans against Chaos Dwarf match where I just got battered by this Chaos Dwarf team. This is the same coach who's playing Kislev Circus and has won 2 games, and I've always considered Kislev Circus to be a really weird team that are difficult to do anything with. So I want to start watching these replays and see how Michael, the coach here, is doing with this team, because I think it's going to be really interesting to see a good coach use them well. I've never really seen that with the Kislev Circus team before, so I want to look in on those at some point. I don't think I'll make a video of watching the game, but it's just out of interest. I want to see them. Probably with our very different records, we're probably not going to come up against each other in this season. Well, there are 7 games I think altogether. 7 games, so maybe if I start doing a lot better and they maybe lose a game or 2, we might meet up somewhere. But yeah, a draw and a loss so far. Much better this second game than the first one, and we'll see who we have next time and how it goes. See you then.